A former tri-state businessman is locked up tonight for having a sexual relationship with an underage girl.
Joe Webb broke the story 2 years ago and was in court today as it wrapped up. Joe?
Well, Ronald Hill was sentenced to 7 years for rape and sexual abuse. His trip to prison has taken a while and had some interesting turns along the way. His plea means the victim, who was 14 at the time of the abuse started, will not have to testify against him. Ronald Hill said nothing in court today. The attorneys and judge did all the talking. Hill worked out a plea agreement, pleading guilty to 3 counts of rape and 2 counts of sexual abuse, both felonies.
5 years on the counts, the 3 rape counts, and 2 years on the sexual abuse count to run consecutive for a net sentence of 7 years.
The allegations against Ron Hill came to light 2 years ago. They involve an ongoing sexual relationship with a girl from his neighborhood who was 14 when the relationship started. Hill was arrested in southern Kentucky at his mother's home. He had driven there in a rental car with the OnStar device wrapped in aluminum foil.
He was trying to avoid detection, I believe, by the use of tinfoil on his vehicle.
That was the first special prosecutor in the case. It was eventually taken over by the Kentucky Attorney General's office. This afternoon, friends and family of the victim sat quietly through the hearing, all grateful that Ron Hill pled guilty so that the victim would not have to testify.
That was the biggest relief of all, because knowing how strong she was, to be able to stand up and say she would do it, we were all worried to death that she was actually going to have to. So for him to plead was a blessing for everybody, because it would have been an awful trial.
They were also grateful that today, after 2 years, Ronald Hill was going to jail.
It's a huge relief. It's a huge relief to have him off the street, to watch him go knowing he's going to prison and he can't bother anybody anymore. It was just so hard to go through.
Now, Maxwell says she was disappointed that Ron Hill did not leave the courtroom in handcuffs. The crimes took place between 2008 and 2011. Ron Hill is 48 years old. Rob?
Joe, thanks very much. After serving his prison sentence, Ron Hill will have to register as a sex offender for the rest of his life.